We're live! Hello, WordNerds! Welcome to our live chat. It is September the 25th, 2022, and we are celebrating 9 years of being on YouTube today.
Woo!
Within a couple days, I believe.
It's somewhere in here.
Yeah. So like 9 years ago, we posted that first video saying we were making a channel, and yeah, so tonight we're gonna chat, have shenanigans. So yeah, be sure to say hey in the discussion section if you are here. I think I see Aaron backstage.
One more.
One more.
Hello.
Look at this. Hi, Missy Kate. Said happy birthday to WordNerds. Yay!
In the pre-chat, Megan said, "Oh, if like we're 9 years old, we're in 4th grade," and I just had a small mental crisis of what year it was and how time moves forward.
Yeah,
That's basically my maturity level, anyways. So I feel like we're on par here.
I'm kind of curious if anybody is watching and wants to say in the comments like how long they've been acquainted with the channel. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah.
How long have we known you?
How long have you been hanging on with us? We want to know.
It was a couple of weeks ago. Roscoe Rose was talking about having been here since the beginning, and Kelly went back and looked and was like, "Look at that!"
Yeah, I went and like looked on comments on old videos and stuff just to like reminisce about like there's so many people who used to be regulars that we just kind of faded out. Like, oh, we like names we haven't seen in a long time. I don't know, it's all really nice.
Yeah.
And then just some of the seeing people from like literal years ago commenting and then seeing them like last week. It's like, wow, you guys have been around for as long as we've been around, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sticking with us. We really, it makes us so happy.
Yeah.
But equally grateful for viewers and WordNerds who have not been here since the beginning.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Anytime someone is like, "Hi, I'm new here," I'm always just this wonderful combination of so ecstatic that you've made it here and also like, "Oh, that's like weird."
I just
want to spend time with us, and
What do we
that's
do?
really cool because
We're just like hiding in our corner of the internet now. So anyone who like finds us,
yeah.
Well, just in general, it's like, and I don't think I'm gonna offend any of us by saying this, but the channel like used to be a lot more structured and like
What?
and like
looking back now, it's like, how did we manage daily uploads?
Right. So it's just like people who've been around for a while, it felt like they were tuning in for content that like in my mind makes sense. Like we were talking about like content, and now it's like we're here and we talk about things. I don't know that it's content anymore. We talk about things.
Like if you log on to our channel, like there are videos there for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people who found us through NaNoWriMo. Once I think our first year partnering with them was 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was the same year we all went to Yellfest, right?
Yeah.
Or did we do it before?
I think you're right.
I think so, because I remember. Well, no, that was P. I'm thinking of P4A, because Charlie was like
that
a
was
baby,
our
like little.
year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Yellfest is Kaylin's second baby -1. Is how I know that one.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, I came on later. I'm one of the newer. Desiree and I are.
You've still been here for a really long time.
It's still been a really long time, like 6+ years. It's been a long time.
I guess has it been 6+ years since the new nerds came on?
Yeah, because Avison is
now.
My daughter's now 6, and it was around when I was pregnant with her that I took the step back. So it's been over 6 years.
And we were doing daily videos, and we were like, we have to get more people.
I feel like we can't really. Go ahead, Rachel.
Oh, I remember the specific chat that we unveiled me and Des.
Yes.
So that's weird to think like, oh my god.
When I was going back last time and like looking through old comments, there was like you commenting on videos before you remember the channel. So
I was like, I still call Des and Rachel, the new nerds. Sometimes I'm like, I can't call them that. Like you guys are old school nerds now.
Old like us now.
It's a big old nerd.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, Kyra, you mentioned how we used to be very structured in the past, and I want to say it was like shortly before COVID that we all were feeling pretty burnt out on like the really scripted content, and that was when we started shifting to like just live chats, just having fun with the audience that we've built.
Was it like early COVID? Because it was like May-ish.
COVID.
So I don't like guess when it started.
Yeah. And
that just, like, stress from other things was building up. We were just like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that has been like one of my favorite decisions that we made.
Yes, definitely. I think it was a wise decision. Andrew Walker made a good point. There have been new nerds since Rachel does too. So yes, they're the new nerds.
Yeah.
That's fun
our
to say.
Recurring best word.
Yeah.
I've been recurring since we started.
Yeah.
Yes.
The beginning.
So my story, for anyone who's maybe interested, I knew Megan before Megan and I were at the same college.
Yeah.
And started a writing group there that I guess technically it's the same writing group, but like Megan and I are the only original members still in it.
Yeah.
And so then when Megan joined the WordNerd, like I ended up kind of connecting with Aaron and Kelly initially, and then like the rest of the group. And so that's kind of how I've been a recurring guest for like the whole time the channel's been around, really.
And then Emma and Megan are friends.
Yeah, I've known Emma for over 20 years. I think we were like 7 when we met.
Oh my gosh.
Like 23 years.
Baby nerds then.
Yeah, we used to hoard notebooks and gel pens, and our family moved around a lot, and so we would like send each other fanfics that we had written, and we would like get together, and like she had this cool upstairs room in one of her houses, and we would go upstairs and just like sit up against the bed, just like writing stories in our notebooks with our gel pens.
That's so cute.
It was always just rip-offs of whatever we were obsessed with at the time. But
oh, that's the way.
Yeah.
The way to go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We've got a lot of people here. Thank you for saying hey in the comment section.
A lot of people found us through Nano, which is cool. Like those are some of my favorite videos to be a part of. We did like high production value.
Oh yes.
Like ridiculous videos for Nano. It's always so fun. They're great to work with.
Okay, like there was like legit like.
Oh no, there was.
Like it was actually like I was very impressed.
I managed to do something embarrassing in the Nano video like every single year. So I think last year was not too embarrassing, but I'm always like running around in a unicorn onesie or singing or doing something funky on there, I feel like.
Yeah, that was our like one exception when we decided we weren't going to do as much intensely scripted, edited content. It's like, but we'll leave the option open to do it for Nano.
Well, we also occasionally did dance videos just for fun.
I was going to bring those up too. Between the Nano and the dance videos.
It's been a really long time.
Oh, no. I forgot about that.
I mean, I feel like those mostly died. Because, like, we tried to do more. We could just never come up with a song. Like, the last 2 attempts just kind of fizzled because there was never just like, oh, yeah, we'll do that song.
Not like the perfect song. Yeah, you need to find one.
Yeah.
And then I think was it Des that made the intro video for you guys one year? That was with the Brooklyn Nine-Nine intro.
Oh
yes, that was so
awesome.
good.
That was very fun.
That was really fun.
I think since we're reminiscing on favorite videos, I think one of my all-time favorites is the one that was filmed when a bunch of us went to Canada for Kelly's wedding.
Yeah.
And the spouses filmed it.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I don't know why I felt like I just remembered that while I was like driving somewhere the other day. I was like, it was so funny.
I gotta watch that again.
I think if you can hear me like cackling in the background of it, and I remember Megan being like, "Shh."
I was like, quiet on set.
Yeah, quite exactly. That was fun. That was the first time I met the nerds in person. I've met Aaron before because we live we live like 3 hours away from each other. But that was the first time I met any of the word nerds. Kelly got married, so it was very fun. It was a very fun weekend.
I think 5 years ago.
No!
Oh my god, that was 5 years ago. I think that was the first time I met
5 years of marriage.
Your marriage
That's
is
the first
in
time I met
kindergarten.
Kyra.
Yeah.
The first time I realized how short most of us are.
Yeah.
Kelly and I had a hard time finding each other at the airport because neither of us realized how short the other one was. I don't know if you remember that, Kelly.
That was
hilarious.
The amazing thing about I met Des at Disney Springs a few months back, and they're so tall, like 6 feet tall. So it was so easy to pick them out in a crowd.
Well, people are great. That means I never lose them.
I think we realized though that Megan, Kelly, and I are all like equally very short.
Yes. Yes.
I might be the second tallest, I think. Because
You're
Des
taller than me. Yeah.
I think I'm a little taller than you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm 5'8".
Okay, I'm 5'7". So it's Des, you, me, and then the short people.
I think Emma's like 5'6".
Yeah, Emma's a little taller.
Kaylin, how tall are you?
About 5'5", 5'6".
Oh, you're tiny too. Okay, 5'6" is getting in the range.
She's 1 inch shorter than you.
You're still small.
I've been told it's average.
Anyone shorter than me is small.
Helen's in the comments sending her love.
Hi, Helen. Helen is our other reoccurring cast member.
Yes.
Give us your exact tallness and
who I think we also just met like through the comment section.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. Yeah, how did we get
Did I know Helen?
You might have known Helen before.
I'm sorry, Helen. It's been a really long time.
It's been so long. How did we get the new nerds?
We posted a video asking.
Was it?
Des had been a lurker.
Yeah.
No, wait.
No.
Yeah, because the new nerds.
Oh, the new.
I feel like Leah had applied with Rachel and Des, and we just stayed in touch.
I think so.
Is that also maybe the case for Helen? I don't remember. I'm so sorry.
I remember really wanting to slide into Leah's DMs when she needed a beta readers at one point.
Oh yes. Also, Leah is currently doing her master's degree in Dublin, which is why you won't see her very often anymore. Oh man.
I will see her.
You're gonna go see her?
I'm going to Dublin in like the end of October. Yeah.
Ooh.
I just have to contact her in advance and be like, I'm gonna come bother you.
I'm sure anytime she'll be like, yes, please.
Just gonna show up.
I think there were maybe easier ways to visit her.
Yeah. The one time she goes to Ireland, I'm like, okay, I'm coming to visit. Suspicious. Yeah. Roscoe Rose says, Aaron, I'm the smallest at 5'1". Oh, you are the smallest.
Yes.
You right in the realm of me, Megan and Kelly. Yeah. That's about where we're at.
Are you both 5'2"? 5'2".
Very straight. I'm 5'2".
5'2".
Yeah, I'll take that from me.
I think I'm a smidge taller than Megan. I don't remember.
I think I'm a smidge shorter
I think
than Megan.
Yeah, I think so.
I just remember
I'm more like 5'1" if I'm standing tall.
You guys are all so small.
You are all so small. I remember doing the cup of tea video with Megan and just feeling like a friggin' giant in the video. Like, oh, flattering.
There's this picture from my wedding where Emma was there and it was with all the bridesmaids, and the photographer, for whatever reason, didn't notice that Emma was standing a step above everyone else. And so she looks like a giant. And she hates that photo, and I love it so much.
Oh, Missy Kate, you were 5-0. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, we found the smallest. The real small. And Griswold says, Dublin is beautiful. I hope you have fun. Thank you. And Griswold, I am very excited. I'm going to be right there for Halloween. So, Samhain.
Oh my God, you are.
Yeah.
That's be amazing.
Very excited. Gonna go visit all the spooky places.
Also, Roscoe Rose on here says that they remember finding most, if not all, of us on Wattpad, which is interesting.
Oh,
so
Nolan.
I mean, that's how I found the WordNerds. That's how I became friends with Aaron, was on Wattpad. So, and Kelly, actually. I think I followed Kelly.
That's how you found Kelly too, you said?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because at one point I probably did badger you all until some of you at least were on Wattpad.
Yeah, I posted a little bit on there and then hid it all. It's all gone now.
Yeah, I deleted my account a long time ago. Oh, Andrew Walker, 6 foot. Okay, so you and Des get to duke it out.
Duke it out.
You just get to be tall together.
See the top of
everyone else. Small people get to be in a club, and the tall people have to fight.
As someone solidly in the middle, I will mediate.
No,
I don't think you are in the middle. You're on the tall side. Yeah, you gotta fight.
Put your gloves on.
I'm bringing the sword I have then.
Oh my gosh, our very first book club was Fangirl.
It was.
I didn't know it was like, I for some reason thought that we were on for like a year before that, but that's the very first book club book.
I think that was like, was that the first time we ever did a live chat, like all together?
It looks like it.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We should like re-book club it at some point next year.
That'd be fun.
I think that'd be fun, yeah. I remember when we did I kind of joined at the height of doing one book a month. And I remember being so stressed out about like, I have to read all these things to keep up with my new friends, like this new channel. That was rough.
Everyone was frantic when we were doing one book a month.
I remember like our group chats like the last like 3 days before the chat being just like, I'm trying to finish it tonight. So, like, how far along are you? Like,
and yet we did like months where we did like a whole trilogy because we had a lot more free time back then. I don't know.
No idea.
I think that's partly it. Like, I had, no kids at that point. I only have one now, but he's a lot. I know other WordNerds are the same now, so, and have more important adult jobs and all that good stuff, right? So,
so much has happened in 9 years.
What? Yeah, and I feel like in addition, there's less interest in creating content.
There's less drive to create content. Like, I'm sure that's still there in the background, but I know, just like speaking for me, I'm like literally today when I was at Comic-Con on a panel, one of the other panelists was saying like, oh, it's important to have a platform. And it's like, I know in my soul that is true. But like when it was my turn to talk, I was like, I am offline. I don't care. Yeah, so I don't know. Just less pressured by the pressure to be creating content constantly, I think.
Yeah. I think too, I think everyone who's on YouTube for several years starts to feel this way. And I think I've talked about it in the past too. It just, when you're constantly creating scripted content, but also trying to build meaningful connections with a community, it starts to feel like, I know for me personally, I started to feel like I had made a personality up for my videos that didn't necessarily match the personality I wanted people to like be friends with.
Mechanism almost, though. Like you kind of have to, right? Because then if people go and critique the person you've created, you're like, well, that's not really who I am, so I don't care. I remember I don't do that. Megan and I had this whole discussion a while ago because I was like, I don't do that. I don't have, like, I think I should have, but I'm not really capable of having the like customer service voice is what I call it. The brighter. Well, and then I'll get people, like one person commenting on my video and being like, your voice is annoying. And me being like, ouch, you have wounded me, because that's my normal voice. But also turn off the video. What are you doing? So yeah, you kind of almost have to protect yourself. But I can't remember if I told you guys, I won't name names, but seeing at Book Expo, one of the vloggers, one of the really, really, really popular book vloggers, turning on her vlogging voice and then turning it off again. It was disturbing to watch, because they were just like hanging out with their friends, and then they got the thing up and it was like different mannerisms, different facial expressions, different energy in their voice, like, and then it was over as soon as she turned off the camera. And I was like, that was alarming to watch.
Amazing compartmentalization.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it. I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, like I talked about this with friends too, who like, I have some friends that I don't speak to, that like live in other countries or other provinces I don't speak to every day, but who watch my YouTube videos, or that who watch like TikTok and stuff. And a couple of them say, like, I speak to them on like a live chat, and then they see a video and they're like, the videos are you like dialed up 10 notches. Like, it's still you, but it's kind of weird to watch.
That's sort of what it is. Yeah.
But it is. Yeah. You can't really do.
It's you in all caps.
Yes.
Yeah. I do live a lot of my life in all caps.
Yeah. Well, like, it's not to say that like you can't not you have to be at 110 for whenever you make content. Like, I know plenty of people that just do like chill, sit down, like chatting, whatever. But I find if you want engagement, like you really want to like build a platform, you have to have like a spark of something, and that is exhausting. So
that's like, it looks exhausting.
It is, and I think that's kind of why we all burned out a couple of years ago, because we were making 7 videos a week. And I had my own channel. I think Erin had her own channel. At one point, Megan, you had your own channel, right?
Off and on.
Yeah, and then like we all had our jobs. We were trying to do a bunch of so eventually we all were just kind of like, we all need to like chill. And so that's what we did. That's when we started doing just the live chats. And even now,
I think we went from. I say this like I ever did daily videos, but I think we went from.
We went 7 to 3.
Yeah.
So we did 7 videos a week, and then it was 2 or 3, and then 1 and the live.
Scripted and 1 live, yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually just did the live. Yeah. I mean, hey, it was a lot of work, and I'm very impressed that we kept it up for years and years.
No kidding.
Well, I think too, a huge thing was, when you first get started, you want make those numbers higher, get bigger numbers, and with 6 to 10 people on at any one given time, there's not really a cohesive like personality to rally around, and so we've always had pretty slow growth. And I think there just came a breaking point that it was like, do we like trying to grow, or do we like people finding us and like doing more personalized things for the community that we have? And that sounded more fun. So
I think too, like when you first start, you have the whole road ahead of you. Like you have, notebooks full of content that you want to create. And then after a couple years, with it being so many of us creating first daily, and then, like a couple times a week, we've repeated a lot of the same topics, where eventually it came into, okay, I kind of still have that motivation, but okay, what else do I say that I haven't already said, or somebody else on the channel didn't already do better than what I could do? So it did come to a point where I think we have like a lot of really good content like that's on the channel. People can find it, but it definitely, and you have that, when you have that motivation to constantly churn out stuff, it's hard to think that it will ever slow down. Because I remember like reaching out to I don't know if we want to name drop, but the channel of rejection, the reason why we all know each other pretty much.
Channel of rejection.
The channel of rejection. And I remember asking them, like, hey, where have you guys been? Like, I really do miss your videos. And they're like, we're just super burnt out. I'm like, oh, you know, that sucks, but like, I'm glad.
It's like,
you guys are
wow,
self-care.
I can't relate.
Yeah, it's like,
I was 22 and full of dreams.
right?
I think
I
one
was
other
so
thing
smug about it.
that we've kind of, some of us have had conversations about behind the scenes, is that just like the way publishing is right now too. Like the publishing landscape has changed so drastically in the past couple years, where even those of us who like are still very immersed in that world, like it's just hard to like give advice for like, you know, the way that like if you're a querying author, like trying to like talk about how you should be querying right now, like, and that's you know, when I was a recurring guest in the past, I did a lot of like, here's how to do a good query content videos. And I don't like, you know, like I still give querying advice sometimes when I can, but it's very different. Like in the past for me, giving querying advice was always like, oh, you should do X, Y, and Z. And now it's kind of like, I don't know, try this. I don't know. It's probably, everything's a mess anyway, but I mean, I might do it this way. So just trying to like generate content that way, like it's a lot harder than when you felt like you like had great information that you were giving people, you know.
Okay, so
what
okay, on the topic of the channel of rejection, I was just scrolling through their videos because like in some ways I feel like we won and in some ways I feel like they had B Schwab, but I didn't realize that there was a traitor face as I was scrolling through here that I had forgotten had done a guest video for them. Megan.
Me?
What? Did?
The murderer was me.
I'd completely forgotten about that.
It was Megan all along.
I guest videoed for them right before I started, was like an official WordNerd.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I thought
They
you were gonna
asked
say
me to be
Taylor.
one of them, and I said no. I found my people. They said, they were like, hey, they were like, we would like to welcome you. I'm like, nah, I'm pretty comfortable over here.
Because you knew you were a word nerd. It was in your blood.
Trying to find Kayla's face. Their thumbnails were terrible though, so it's harder to find things.
Yeah. The publishing industry, though.
I was even thinking that when we were talking about book clubs, especially like N. Griswold, Mrs. Book Clubs, but like when we started them and when we were reading a lot, publishing was so different. Like reading was different. Mm-hmm. There were more it books. They were smaller books of like when we read the entire selection series, like that was not as much of a commitment as some of the later books that we did. And like there was just, it was easier to pick books because YA was such a thing at that point. And
well,
like,
when we started, we were all YA. We were the YA word nerds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of us have really diversified our reading.
Yeah, definitely.
As we
how many? I'm really curious how many YA books I've read this year.
We started out reading this selection series, and now I'm reading The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is like several of the selection
Wasn't
series.
The Bone Season one of our book clubs? Not
it was.
Was it?
But
such a good book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was also thinking that like back then when we started, it was like
days.
back in the olden days. There was always like one book a month, or even like a couple books like in the half of a year that were like, this is the big book. And now I'm getting 17 books that come out on Tuesday that are like all super hyped, and like it's just so much more.
But even like nothing's quite as super hyped as like a new Tahara Mafi book was back then, or something like that. Of like it was easy to pick things that like viewers would be interested in because we were all reading the same things.
Everyone who was watching was a YA reader at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've read like 8 YA books this year, and 4 of them were Heartstopper.
Nice. Yeah, publishing is so much now. Like, it's a bit of a mess right now. But I'm glad that like there are more opportunities for people to get their books published. I love how diverse it's gotten in the last years, but it's also very messy, and especially with new apps and new ways of consumerism, it's so much that I don't even know what I should be buying anymore, or like I'm just getting recommendations from everywhere, which is kind of cool because it's like, oh hey, here's like a bunch of indie books that I never would have looked at, or oh, I've never heard of this new author, like let me check them out. But it's also like it's hard to keep up with that, and I feel like every month I'm like, oh nice, like next month this comes out, cool, and then and this and this and this and also this and this and this, and like and then I branched out from YA. That just adds more things that I could go and buy. So that's rough.
Really.
Trying not to buy the entirety of the romance shelves because they all look cute and adorable and I want to read them.
Yeah.
I will try not to get too much on my soapbox about like how publishing as an industry is kind of like a trash fire right now, because this is something I could talk about at length, and I have. But Megan is often the recipient of those conversations. But just in terms of like, I a while ago kind of tried to quantify like my own experience as like a writer trying to like query and like get a foot in the door. So I just like ran some numbers, and so like the book I queried in 2016 had like a 44% request rate, and then like just couldn't quite cross the finish line. And then I queried again in 2020 and had like a 15% request rate, which is still, you know, like decent, but definitely like a drop from 44%. And then Megan and I have been querying over the past year and a half or so. Megan, what's our request rate?
What is it? Like
4%.
4%. Nothing's real.
So just in terms, and it's not that I got to be a worse writer. I like just that's kind of how the industry has changed. You know, maybe it is. But anecdotally, if that's the story you want to follow, like, so just like thinking of that in terms of like where we were like in 2016, like giving advice on this channel versus now, it's like that's so different. Like it's just a very different experience.
Like also I feel like there are so many videos that we did of like, this is how you write this is how you write this, and now it's kind of like everything goes. You want to write in poetry, go for it. You want to write in like sentences that last half a paragraph, go for it. You want to write a entire book but actually call it a screenplay, who cares? Like, toss it in a binding and put that on the shelf. Like, who cares about descriptive characters? We don't need them. Like, it's just like all over the place.
Yeah. I think for me, like the biggest eye opener was like the whole like, oh, this was fan fiction, and now they changed this little bit, and now it's a book, and that was like super looked down upon, and everyone had opinions about it. And then the love hypothesis, you know, it's huge. It is gigantic, and it is very clearly fan fiction that was turned into, you know,
or an
independent book. Yeah. But I don't know if it like, I mean, was it TikTok? Was it like that word of mouth that just, hey, if enough people talk about it, everyone's going to like it because we're telling them to like it. Whereas back then it was just, hey, here's this author, and then this one random blog is saying this. So now there's a little bit of buzz, but it's definitely not as loud as it is now.
And I think back when we started, there was, you know, one particular shape of story that publishing houses, particularly YA ones, they wanted. You know, your protagonist was, you know, straight and white, and you know, they ran kind of a standard arc, you know, 3-act structure. You're gonna match all of those beats. And so I think that the changing up of all of that was kind of inevitable. Like it couldn't have lasted forever, for sure. In addition to, you know, just getting more diversity in publishing, which is amazing, but also feels like publishing houses are kind of backsliding on now that all of publishing is a trash fire. So
It's very much because they were treating it as another trend. This
even
is the
just
new
an editorial and stuff, you know, firing employees and.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Publishing is a mess.
Yeah.
So, and Griswold has a question. What's
Hopefully
the biggest
your question
takeaway or lesson you've learned from being on YouTube and writing since you started the channel?
Does someone have a cat?
Can you hear her purring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She jumped up.
It's really,
literally,
it's a nice soothing sound.
I don't know if you could see her. She's kind of just chilling.
So I was like, I hear
Fantastic.
purring.
I didn't think you could hear that though.
That's great. Better than crickets.
I think my biggest takeaway for the channel was that it really is about the connections for me of when it's all said and done, that like the friendships and like the viewers that we see all the time and like know, like that's what I care about. And like I still like the idea of making content, but the friendships is so much more valuable.
I would
Which is
also
a
say
cheesy
that.
answer, but that's what, I don't know, whenever the channel gets kind of in trouble, that's what you lean on.
Yeah.
The sun has shifted just enough that it's directly into my eyes. I'll go close that in a minute. But like, yeah, when I first started the channel, I thought it was going to be like we're in and then I'm out. I put my video up and then I leave. And I remember even the first chat that I was a part of where we like stopped the stream and then I was ready to be like, all right, bye, see you later. And then everyone's like, this is so fun. Like, let's just chat. And I like chatted for
We're going to be here for another hour.
Yeah, we're like 2 hours or something. I was like, oh my God, what friendship? This is weird. So yeah, that was nice. That is so nice.
Yeah, I think
Hear her purring.
Along the same lines. I know, it's so soothing. I like it. Along the same lines, yeah, I think the thing I learned most, I think, is that if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to keep doing it. If it's an intense amount of work, you're not going to keep doing it. And yeah, you just like, it really boils down to you have to stick to the parts you really enjoy. And I think we've sort of proved that with live chats. Like, we enjoy doing these because we enjoy connecting with each other and chatting with each other and chatting with the regular viewers. And so that was one thing we're all like, hey, we should keep doing this, but maybe we can stop doing all the other stuff that is so much work and so draining. And so I'm still learning that. I think it's a lesson in progress because occasionally I'll backslide and I'll see someone be like, oh, they're making 62 videos a day on, you know, TikTok or whatever. And I'll be like, I need to make 62 videos a day so I can get an audience. So I still get dragged back to that occasionally, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's one thing that this YouTube channel has been slowly teaching me.
Yeah, I think something that's been a long lesson for me, that if I was to talk to like me of the past or someone who's considering getting into YouTube, or, you know, TikTok is really where more people are starting these days, any video-based platform, the biggest thing that I've had to learn from and like come up against is just this idea of like being careful with how much of yourself you put online. So like when we first started, I put forth this big bubbly personality, but I was really open about like what I was doing, you know, my name, where I'm living, just like all these like personal details about me, because I thought like I'm never going to want to use a pen name, so it's fine if all of this stuff is out there. But it's like, you know, I was 22. I didn't know. I thought I was never going to have a normal job and stuff. And so just like, yeah, just being more careful and being really thoughtful about how much of yourself you want to be putting online to be consumed. Yeah, because it's never a fun feeling like, oh, I've put a huge percentage of myself into this thing and it got 12 views and now I feel bad about myself. Or like someone keeps making comments on my appearance and it makes me uncomfortable, you know? just like all this weird stuff that I didn't really think about for the longest time.
It definitely is strange consolidating the like persona or just even like what you put online versus what you show. And like I definitely still kind of struggle with that sometimes, of like seeing, you know, big book talkers or like big book bloggers do videos on their mental health, or like go into like what their life's been like, or like whatever, and being like, oh well, I should do that because they're doing it. But I'm like, they have a very different platform and they're comfortable sharing much different things than I am, and like I don't have to push myself when I'm feeling bad and film a video anyways and then go on about how I'm feeling bad. Like I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think some people think oversharing online is a form of bonding, which it can be, but it's also like, you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you don't know the majority of people that are following you. And that I like, that's always weird, because I've bumped into people in public who know who I am from online, which is so cool and wild. But it's also like, oh, how much do you know about me? And I know nothing about you. So like in that way, try to be kind of careful.
That's
of
a really
exactly
good
how
point.
And it's like, you can always add more of yourself later if you're like, oh, I've thought about it and I want to, especially with publishing journeys, you know, like I got an agent. I want to tell everyone the week I signed the contract, but then, you know, like I didn't have an agent anymore. And like, how do you decide professional timing to talk about that thing? You can't take it back once you talk about the full details. And so like being really thoughtful, you can add more later, but it's really hard to take things back once they're out there.
Yeah, I think that sometimes people mistake the whole like be your authentic self, you know, people only connect with your authentic self, with oversharing. And then that's when you get that crossing the line and showing, you know, too much of yourself online. So
yeah. And everyone's threshold is different. Like you said, Rachel, you know, some people are comfortable with those things and some people aren't. But
I feel like some of that dynamic is changing because of TikTok anyway. Like when we were supposed to be putting up 10-minute videos, like even if people, book talkers, are oversharing, it's probably in a 1-minute video. Like it's a lot less than it was in the like the YouTube heyday. That I like. There was a stat recently about like Gen Z tends to search on TikTok more than they Google things, and I like that I can look up the answer to something and get a video without all the preamble. Is really nice. Like just show me how to do this thing, and I don't need to hear your life story first.
True.
So some of it is changing. That
that reminds me of like the cooking.
I was just gonna say that.
The recipe my kids love these cookies and like 6 paragraphs about how your kids like the cookies, but they don't like.
I know there's like a legit reason they do that. Like there was like, someone tried to make an app that just like stole the recipes and let you skip all the things, but that's, you can't copyright recipes, so or something like that. Like they bloggers for recipe stuff have to do that. And it's also to like that they make money from sticking ads on their page. If a recipe takes up this much space, like it's so
interesting. That's why I'm like every time I'm like, just show me the cookies.
Just scroll.
They're still making money from that scroll. So
my angry scrolling is making them money. That's great.
I don't need to know the entire history of cocoa. I need the brownie recipe. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I do think that is
birthday party.
I do think that is a positive thing that we've seen kind of changing in publishing, is this idea that you have to have this huge platform. Like people with huge platforms are still going to benefit. But back when we started the WordNerds, it felt like, well, not only do we want to build this up because it feels good to see the numbers go up, like publishing will not take us seriously unless we have the number higher. I don't feel like that's the case at all anymore.
Not as much. No,
so that's nice.
I remember Erin lamenting about how she had to make a newsletter.
Oh, ew.
She was so mad about having to do that.
I still hate it. I'm not doing it. I refuse.
I have not like a huge Twitter following, but enough like to like I have a bit of a Twitter following, and I had this dream that like I became popular enough on like book Twitter that like I got invited to this like book event, like a book signing or panel or something, and had to be like, oh, I don't actually have any books out. People just like me complaining about publishing or whatever it is I do on Twitter these days. So that's how my platform is going.
My platform has a deadline. If I hit 5K, I'm locking everyone in with me, and it's a 1 in, 1 out system from there. I do not want a big platform.
That is so random. I love it.
Not on Twitter, at least. I know we have way more than that here, but
yeah, it is very weird because like I have a following online, which is strange. And like I'm friends with people that I follow online. But yeah, just the idea of like these are kind of numbers, and it's very strange to be like these are all people, like all of them. I mean, some of them are probably bots or whatever. But what are you doing here? Like, why are you following
Your
me?
platform is big enough that if like I comment on one of your TikToks, so, like I'm commenting because like I know you made that thing or whatever, but like everyone else here is commenting because you're famous. I don't know. This is weird.
I have a 9 to 5 and I buy my groceries at Walmart. Like I'm not anything special.
In my head, you are famous. I'm like, wow.
One of us has to be famous.
Thank you.
You were elected.
Thank you.
When I was teaching like college freshman English, I had one of my students find my Twitter and get so mad that I had so many more followers than he did. I had to be like, well, some people want to hear my writing advice. No, you don't. I know this is a required class for you, but
was it one of the guys that's like was kind of being a jerk face?
No, he was nice. Okay. And when I say he was mad, it was like kind of a funny. He's just like, Miss Nelson, how do you have so many followers?
That was like if your family finds your online platform and then it's like, why do 100,000 people want to hear what you say? And you're like, okay, grandma, like that's really rude.
I mean, my family's very supportive. My grandparents don't have the internet, so like they have no idea what this is. I'm just hoping that nobody at my work finds out because I'm just like, nope, they know that I like books and that's good enough. I'm like, I don't need to go and no, it's fine really.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything more horrifying than somebody in real life coming up and being like, I saw what you said on your vlog the other day. That was so nice. And I'm just like, I'm going to just go.
That is honestly, that is probably my biggest takeaway. Like I didn't want a pen name, but I wanted to block everyone I've met in real life.
Yeah.
I should have had a pen name.
It's probably fine, I think, if someone comes up and is like, oh, I know you from the WordNerds for some reason, that's okay. I don't know why. But if it's somebody like a work colleague or a family member that's like, I saw you on the YouTubes the other day and you were saying this, I'll be like, no. That wasn't me. That was someone else.
You must be mistaken.
You are mistaken, sir.
Is it like so that we're like the people we know? We're like, don't look at what we do. But if like someone random came up to us on the street, being like, "I love what
I'd be ecstatic." Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Not sure why that's different, but it is.
Joe Catherine just said one of my second graders subscribed me to his YouTube channel. And I was
like, yeah, that's so cute.
Oh yeah.
Also, Andrew said, Rachel, I saw your TikTok get downloads on Pinterest recently. I thought, wow, she's really famous.
Wild. Oh, I think my aunt sent me that. She like sent me a screenshot of like her Pinterest page, and I was one of my TikToks is on there, and I was like, that's cool. Yeah, I've been doing this thing online. Like, and she's like, what's this? I saw your face. I'm like, okay, thanks, Karen. Like, I don't need to. Don't worry about it. It's just a thing I sometimes talk about.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, Aunt Karen. It's fine. Yep.
Yeah. Andrew also said a Twitter platform is not the same thing as other social media things. And yeah, 12K on YouTube feels very different. I assume 12K on Twitter was very different vibes.
I don't even remember how many people I have on Twitter because I don't use it.
I don't have anywhere close to that. Like I said,
I don't have 12K.
It will never happen.
Like, it's so interesting being in a book blogger or like writer space where some kitty. I love her. Like being a faceless or a face forward creator, and like you could just be like an anonymous writer and just like put stuff out and not show your face or your family or anything, or you can be like really engaged in like doing like TikTok videos of like, this is me writing my book and like stuff. So it's interesting how you can kind of have both of them, but a lot of people assume that like you need to have the face forward aspect, which is kind of true because like people like a personality, so people are going to more likely like buy your book if they know you. But you absolutely do not need to do that if you don't want to. Like, pull a Lemony Snicket and just like get a photo from behind and like don't post anything online and have no photos. And then you're good to go.
Griswold said, now I'm wondering who in my circle could be secretly internet famous. I'm like, that's kind of exactly it. Of like, I want to make content for very specific people. And like, I know other people in my life won't really get it, and I don't want to explain it, and it sucks the fun out of it. So like, just my target audience, nobody else.
I remember seeing a childhood best friend. We were on her laptop looking up something, and she went to Pinterest, and I was like, why do you have 100,000 Pinterest followers? She's like, oh, I just post like clothes and stuff. I was like, holy crap, where did this come from? You're super Pinterest famous. Is that even a thing? Pinterest famous? I don't know. I don't even know.
I have no idea. It's huge. Like, before TikTok, it was like the next biggest search engine.
But I don't think anyone says like, get on Pinterest if you want to grow your author following, right? Because it's like just your photos of.
I would say that's a lot of like internal design, like home ec kind of stuff.
Yeah, she was posting like
Food
fashion
bloggers.
and stuff. Yeah.
I know I'll follow people on Pinterest if they post a lot of things with the vibes that one of my books has or something. Like, yeah, I'd like to see more of what you're going to pin down.
I don't even know enough about how Pinterest works, which is awful because I'm a social media manager for my job. But like, how do I see? I don't look at who posts things. I just look at
I don't think I've ever.
I don't think most people
purposely followed people.
No,
maybe
I
some
totally
of you guys,
do for
but
book
I don't.
ideas. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's as big of a platform that you need to worry about for.
No, not at all. But
yeah.
If done right, though, Pinterest is incredibly powerful. I don't get it.
I just feel bad for the people from college who still follow me on there. All my photos are horror novels. Like,
I would love to pull a Lemony Snicket, but it's kind of too late. I'd just be like halfway Lemony Snicket and just be grouchy online.
Well, just write new books and then put a pen name on them.
Yeah. The downside to pulling a Lemony Snicket is that, or to any pen name really, is that then your enemies don't know that you've succeeded.
True.
Why do you think I kept my maiden name, like my old high school name? All my old high school people will see me on the bookshelf now.
Yeah, they need to know.
They must know I've had mild success. Revenge.
So that question Griswold asked had two parts, and we talked a lot about the social media part. So I want to know all of y'all's answers for what has been your biggest like takeaway on writing in the last 9 years, like something you've learned or something you're like really proud that you've leveled up. Just anything.
I don't know.
So much in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've leveled up as more as like I've leveled out. So like I remember when I first started talking to you guys when we first did videos, like you guys were my first like, oh, I know these people in real life and they also write books and they also read books. So you guys were like my first writing friends. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get so much writing done. I'm gonna write this and I'm gonna query. And I learned in hindsight now that the hype and like the drive to want to write doesn't exactly work if you don't actually sit down and do it.
That can't be right.
If you don't like actually like schedule the time out to actually sit down and do it, because like I'll get the hype. And I remember like after Sunday chats, we would hang out for a while after, and then even after that I would stay and I'm like, I have the hype, I'm writing, and I would get written a decent amount of stuff, but then I'm like, a couple days passed and it's, when's the last time I wrote anything? Oh, it was Sunday. Oh wait, it's Friday. I'll just wait till Sunday again. So it's just life gets in the way a lot. So hype is good when you utilize it properly.
Nice.
I think I learned the most that I think I came into the WordNerds at a point in my life that I really needed like extra support, especially around creative aspects. So I learned through WordNerds that like I could finish a book, and there are people out there who are willing to like encourage me, and then also people that have sort of done it before that have advice, and it's just like kind of like a big like melting pot of advice that I'm like, oh nice, like I can kind of like pick from here and pick from here, because at that time the internet was very like, if you want to write, you have to do this. And then kind of meeting the WordNerds and having those chats and stuff to be like, oh, like you do it one way and you do it one way. I think I'm going to do a combination of those. And everyone was like, yeah, you should do that. And I was like, cool, I'm going to do that. And then that really helped.
Yeah. This is kind of similar to my answer to the other part of the question, but I do feel like the power of a writing community is what is really interesting and fun. And like, even aside from the WordNerds, I was writing the most when I had 2 other writing buddies who were writing every day, and we were checking in every day. And that's when I was the most consistent. And like, on top of like COVID and all the other reasons I kind of fizzled out on writing, but like when less WordNerds were writing, I was just like, maybe now I can pause. And I just, but if all my friends are writing, then I'm excited about it again. And just surrounding yourself with people who are what you want to be more of is always a nice way to go. So way to be my role models.
I think that's a question I get asked all the time is like, what's one thing you would suggest for people that are just starting out? And one of the things that I always say is find a community of other writers that are going through like a similar thing as you, or maybe taking, you're taking a self-publishing track, or you're taking a traditional track, and whether you're querying together or beta reading together, whatever, like find like-minded writers so that you have like these bonds and these friendships that you can like lean on, and like people to basically celebrate with and rant to. And like, I think the reason my answer is consistently that is because of the WordNerds being there since like pretty much since day one, right? Like we've been together for so long through like all of my
since we were
journey.
all on the same path, and then you've just like continued up that hill.
But like having writer friends was like one of the things I think that kept me and still keeps me sane. And so that's one of the biggest things I think I learned from the WordNerds channel. And so henceforth is always my advice to other new writers is like, find a good group and stick with them essentially.
Forever.
At
least for 10 years. That's the bare minimum, guys.
A whole decade at least.
Until the blood oath is fulfilled.
Wait,
that's right. You were.
I wasn't there that day
anyway, so you're fine.
What happened at Kelly's wedding for real?
You were at the wedding.
That's why no one wanted to go to bed that night. We were like, the blood oath is tonight. Megan's gonna get stabby. I want to fall asleep.
Yeah, we stayed up till 3 a.m. or something the night before.
No one wanted to go to sleep and miss out on the riveting conversation about. I don't even know what we were talking about by then. There was a
part of it.
There was a fan fiction with a lamp.
That's what I have the video of. I'm gonna find that after the chat and repost it in our group.
Yes, please do.
I think
we were so off of just so high off sleep deprivation. It was great.
Yeah, I was like, we weren't even drunk or anything. It was just we were so tired that it was.
I'm excited to be together.
Yeah.
I think this was like the night after we were out playing laser tag till 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and by the time we got started on the lamp fan fiction, it was like 2 a.m. or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it was like multiple
nights
of.
It was
multiple
late.
nights of not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need that video. I have vague memories in the back of my head of what that.
I'll have to go find it again because I know it was on my phone.
Yeah.
It was long enough ago that I had a slide phone at the time, so
nice.
That's how long we've been friends. In fairness, I had a slide phone much later than most people had a slide phone. I think my thing in terms of like what I've learned about writing is kind of similar to Rachel's, and also kind of similar to what Erin was saying about the channel, is like just finding like what works for you. And that's for like, you know, your process. Like, you know, not everybody writes the same way. And I think you kind of have to go through a while of like figuring out, like trying different ways of writing and figuring out what actually works for you. But I think it's also just like in terms of like your brand, and not that your brand can like never change. I think a lot of authors' brand changes. But I think like back to when we started, a lot of us were writing like very, very similar like YA fantasy sort of things. And some of us still write some of that, but like we've also like diverged a lot. We're like, Megan's writing horror now, and like I'm writing contemporary now. And just kind of finding like what works for us, and also like what makes us happy. I think especially like with the way publishing is right now, like it's been really important for me to tap back into like, okay, what about this book is like going to make me happy? Because there's no guarantee that it's going to query well or whatever. But like, what am I getting out of that? And like, just kind of raising your own awareness about like what your process is, what you like to write, just what works for you, and like being willing to take some time to figure that out. And then once you figure it out, kind of pursue that. I think that's kind of been one of the larger things I've kind of been trying to learn over the past 9 years.
Yeah, mine was in a very similar vein. Shock. But yeah, so when we started YouTube, you know, there was a lot of pressure, I feel like, to, you know, follow certain rules, do certain things. Your story has to look a certain way, your prose. You know, there can be some variation in your prose, but it roughly needs to look like one of two ways. And a big thing for me has just been recognizing and getting better at realizing what is valuable critique and what is someone just trying to stop you from being weird in the ways you like to be weird. And like, just give yourself permission to be weird. You know, publishing moves really, really slow, and publishing is not linear. So you might as well be writing things that are weird in all the ways you like to be weird and that make your heart happy.
Well said.
This is weird. Like a complete departure. Joe Catherine, I had a phone with a keyboard until 2018. I still miss it. Ooh. So my slide phone that I was talking about had a keyboard. It was a BlackBerry. What was it called? I can't remember. I loved that phone because it had like the keyboard was the part that slid out. But other than that, it was like a regular like touch screen phone. And like the keyboard was like, you could swipe on it because it was touch sensitive. So you could kind of like type if you needed to, but also swipe. Miss that phone. That's the one that the lamp video is on. So.
Perfect. Oh man.
So, sorry for that. Like,
that's perfect.
Very sudden departure after Megan's like very thoughtful.
I was gonna end on the Megan note because we're at about the hour, but you know, you do you.
Yeah, that's Megan.
We had to.
Misty Kate wants to know what fandom the lamp is.
If there was no fandom, we were just tired.
It was fan fiction for the lamp. Like the lamp was.
The lamp was a love interest, but I don't remember how.
Yeah, somehow the lamp was the love interest.
I think what happened is
don't worry about it.
I had been talking about our book that we were co-authoring, and I was enjoying about it like we are. And so I think whoever was in the room was like, oh well, we're gonna co-write something together, and you just start like rapid fire.
I know it was on the
my character's Bob, and my character's a lamp, and I think that's where it came from
somehow.
It was.
It wasn't teams. It was like you all get to be a Megan because me and Megan.
Bob a god.
Then it was teams, and you and Megan were a team.
Yeah, because it was Megan and Kyra were doing that thing they do when it's like, oh, we wrote this thing, and then they're like, inside joke, ha ha ha, and so it was like
that's right.
and it was like me and Kelly and Rachel, and I think it was Kelly and I that started the first back and forth, because we were like, well, we're gonna write our own thing, so we have our own inside jokes, and they're gonna be really funny, and we're gonna laugh at them, and you're not gonna know what we're laughing about. And
now look at us.
And then now look what happened with the love interest with it. And I think it was like a real genuine case of being like, who's the love interest? And one of us being like, nah, Lamp. That's the point it got to. So
to be clear, Megan and I know that we're like completely insufferable when we get together.
When we talk about our writing, like, yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't stop us, but we are aware.
We won't stop, but we do know. It birthed a beautiful, beautiful work of fiction with the Lamp love interest. So that's okay.
Yes.
I mean, something really good came out of it. So.
Really tender, light-filled works.
Real light of my life. I'm sorry. I will see myself out. But before, there is one question from N. Griswold, which is talking about, have you ever thought about putting together a writing retreat?
For your followers, that would be such a good idea.
We would specifically make sure you are available if we ever do this.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, like, similarly, Andrew said that they can't stop thinking about a WordNerd Discord. So maybe there are like some future ideas.
Yeah, we have thought about the Discord a lot as well.
Discord a lot.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, we don't particularly have our shit together right now. So we very much want to do that and have those just like maybe that's the way to do book clubs in the future, of like, it's a no pressure thing. Just like, here's the book club channel. When you get there, post your thoughts.
Is something like Slack along the same lines as Discord?
It's very similar.
We literally already have a Discord. We just don't use it.
Yeah. I was going to say, for some reason, I suck so hard at Discord, but I can do Slack. So it's the same. Maybe we could do Slack? ?
But Discord doesn't erase your messages after.
Yeah, Slack now erases your messages after 90 days, which is
really
long.
Stupid.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. I tried to go looking for something the other day and it was just gone.
And we did also
awful
start up a Goodreads, because we talked about doing that other website that didn't have any features that Goodreads has. We're trying.
I want to put,
we're trying, but not very hard.
I do think,
disclaimer,
for all that we've talked about, our past with the wisdom of having a 9-year-old channel, it does feel very much again like we're like on the cusp of rediscovering what we want the channel to be, what's going to work for everyone. And having a text-based chat is always at the front of our mind, because we don't want, if anyone ever decides not to do YouTube anymore, we don't want to lose connections to you all. We really, really value getting to talk to everyone in the discussion section. Like it's a highlight of the week, every week, getting to chat with you all. And
we're just in the middle of it.
Yeah. I'm not promising anything, but maybe for Nano, I could get.
That would be really okay. Discord has sprint bots.
Oh,
does it?
Use those.
Yeah.
Maybe Discord would be good.
Yeah. I'll do an
mine.
off-air Discord tutorial for you, Erin. I guess I could do it on it for anyone else.
Might be good entertainment.
Yeah.
It will just be me going, how do I do this? I can't remember. How do I do this? Yeah.
It's pretty similar to Slack once you get there.
Okay. I think I've used it before, and it's once you get on it, it's self-explanatory, but for some reason I can't remember to like return to the Discords I'm a part of, and like I just don't use them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Joe Catherine says, I won't be satisfied with a writer's retreat unless there's a murder or at least one ghost. Joe Catherine, I'm not sure you're invited if you're determined.
If you won't be satisfied without a murder,
then I'm not sure you're allowed to come.
But if I'm there, there's already going to be a ghost. So,
I thought you were going to say a murder, and I was about to be seriously concerned.
I mean, I can murder a box of cookies like that. So,
it looks
put
like
some Oreos in front of me, I'm good to go.
Discord bot knowledge. So
yes, I have also got experience with Sprintbot.
And I used the Sprintbot. It only took me 4 tries. So what you're saying is it's going to take me about 100 tries. Okay.
It's really, really straightforward. Yeah, someone just calls on the bot, and then you type your word count.
You don't even have to start it. You could just be there and
call on the bot. Is that what you said?
Yeah, someone calls on the bot. The bot's like, "Hey, we're gonna sprint," and anyone who wants to join is just like, "Join," and then it asks for your word count at the end, and it like tags you in it, so it pings your phone.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Also, Jo Catherine has changed her answer to "We'll settle for unsettling forest and ghost."
We can definitely do unsettling forest and
for
ghost.
sure. Aaron and I live in a place that have many forests, so I'm sure. Come to Canada.
We should do a Pacific Northwest writing retreat.
We have brought you all to the east a lot.
We have many, many spooky forests and cabins, and we should do that definitely. Yes. And lots of haunted places, actually. So, I mean.
Actually, yeah, a surprising amount.
A lot.
Maybe whoever has the spookiest vibes and has the appropriate amount of rooms for however many people want to come to this.
I think we would have to rent a cabin, like
probably
a retreat place. And there's lots of them here, particularly on the island. And some intense old growth forest, which is really spooky. So, I mean, my vote is for here. Obviously.
The planning has begun. Okay.
First step is the Discord.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Book your plane now.
But Missy, Kate, and Andrew are both on board with Canada. So
yes. This is full planning for people who haven't been able to like plan our chats more than like a week in advance.
Yeah. We haven't seen each other in 5 years, but
it's gonna happen.
We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
Now I always want to go do a WordNerd retreat. Like, absolutely. But the idea of doing a WordNerd retreat and a writing retreat for WordNerd audience too, for some reason, my brain is like, okay, we got to fixate on this for a while now. It's supposed to happen. Oh my God.
I also really want to go to Y'all Fest again. I can't go this year because I don't have any leave yet, but next year.
Next year.
Someday.
Let's plan.
Yes.
So we've been going a little over an hour. No stress on travel plans yet. You all have a lot of time.
We haven't figured out what's going on yet.
But I will blast someone's address on the internet, and you can show up if you want to be early.
Y'all can show up. I have one spare room. Other than that, you need to sleep in the garage. So.
We've said a lot of sentimental things. I always have grand notions of giving sentimental speeches at the end here on big milestones like this, but I think
you tried and I ruined it. I'm so sorry for that.
It was perfect. No, I think just, leaving it at, there's really no way to properly convey how thankful we are that you all choose to spend your time with us. We really, really, really love it and appreciate it. And we're so, so glad you're here. And, if you're someone whose name we see regularly, like, we do miss you when you're not here. We do get off like, oh, that person wasn't here.
We're still so sorry.
It's great. You are all amazing. And we hope that you will keep sticking with us. And we will be back next week with
brainstorming, actually.
Brainstorming.
Also, Jo Catherine, I do see the Canada slander. We're just going to slide right by it. But
yeah,
that's my Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest is very different.
No, God, Canada is not all like that. I will not have you supporting this.
You can slander the other
that isn't.
Yeah, who cares about the East Coast?
Making second nice sentiment of the night.
Yes, God, come on, everyone.
Sorry.
Trying to leave on a nice note here. Canada is too cold.
Canada's just slap fighting in the.
Yes, we love you all. Please join us next week to talk about brainstorming. Bye.
Bye, guys.